Tsunade looked through the stack of mission reports from the past few days. Naruto and Team 10 had returned yesterday, the blonde having a rather interesting encounter with shinobi from the Hidden Stone. The only other report she found interesting was one given to Sasuke and Kakashi. The duo had been sent to destroy a group of bandits who had taken control of an abandoned castle, not far from the Land of Waves. The initial report estimated 36 targets in total. Once they arrived, Sasuke had insisted on taking them alone. Kakashi protested, but the Uchiha charged in anyway. He ended up defeating every bandit within a matter of minutes. Kakashi described it as a display of destructive force. That kid is following the footstep of every Uchiha, the Hokage sighed. I hope Kakashi knows what he's doing. Her reading was paused as someone knocked on the door to her office. She beckoned them to enter, surprised to see Sakura. In her arms was a small stack of books. I thought you had the day off, Tsunade said. Sakura shrugged. I couldn't put down those medical books you gave me to study. I finished them, so I figured you want them back. Tsunade chuckled. Sakura had startled her with how much work ethic she had. It had only increased since the battle in the Hidden Mist. Tsunade knew she had a bias, but she reckoned the young medic was catching up to her peers steadily. She'd started out as the weakest getting in her class. Now, she was a rising medic and also a proficient genjutsu user. Is there anything else you wish me to do, Lady Tsunade? Sakura asked, placing her books beside the desk. Shizune is working at the hospital, and she says they are short-staffed. Perhaps you can help out. I'll find you some more material to study. That is, if I finish all this paperwork. Sakura nodded, leaving the office with a spring in her step. Tsunade looked down at the mission report, sighing in pain. What would you do in this situation, Sarutobi-sensei? She muttered aloud. Not only do I have to deal with the likes of Naruto and Sasuke, but I have to keep the peace with both the sand and mist. And to top it off, Orochimaru was still out there, with the Akatsuki not far behind, I would expect. No point trying to be like our master, a voice chuckled behind the Hokage. You're not Hiruzen, no one is. Tsunade turned to see Jiraiya standing in the window. Why can you not use the door? The sage laughed, jumping into the office. I've got to keep up my image as a master of grand entrances. But that's not why I'm here. Tsunade frowned as Jiraiya grew somber. He handed her a mission report. I just returned from meeting some of the contacts from my spy network. I was looking for info on that cloaked figure Naruto and the Mizukage's people saw taking Yagura. Unfortunately, there was nothing. Whoever this mystery man is, he's off everyone's radar. Have they found Yagura's body yet? Tsunade inquired. If he is Akatsuki, they only need the tailed beast. They could easily place it inside another host to prevent Yagura from attempting to escape. Jiraiya shook his head. Yagura was under genjutsu up until the moment he was captured. Jinchuriki are immune to genjutsu, provided they can tap into tailed beast chakra. Considering Yagura had full control over the Three Tails, the genjutsu must have been strong enough to overwhelm the demon itself. If this mystery man is the caster, he would have no need to kill Yagura, just keep him on a leash. Tsunade sighed. Is there anything you did find out? Jiraiya nodded. I don't know if Mei mentioned it, but the mist had another Jinchuriki. They held the Six Tails. Tsunade nodded. During the resistance, he lost control, then went into hiding. Mei has sunk a lot of resources into finding him. Well, my network has caught glimpses of someone matching the description I got from the mist. I was planning to bring them all the info I could, then continue my hunt for the Akatsuki, Jiraiya added. How long will you be gone this time? Tsunade asked, frowning. Jiraiya shrugged. 2, maybe 3 weeks. Afterwards, I plan to stick around and help Naruto with his training. Tsunade glanced at the sage, then back at her desk, before leaning deep into her chair. If that's the case, you might want to see his last mission report. Jiraiya took the paper, scanning it in silence. So, the old Tsuchikage is finally beginning his hunt. All the more reason to train Naruto. Hopefully that will refocus his mind, Tsunade sighed. What do you mean? He's been off in his own world, for lack of a better term. Whenever I see him, his eyes are staring off into nothing. He's been uncomfortably silent. Jiraiya scratched the back of his head. That's not surprising, considering the loss of Haku isn't going to fade anytime soon. She's the closest he's ever been to someone. Tsunade shook her head. That's not the only thing. I've had an Anbu watching Naruto from afar ever since I became Hokage for his own protection. And every Anbu has given me the same reports, which I have verified. He talks to himself whenever he's alone, and when he does, the demon's chakra is churning inside the seal, as if it's active. Jiraiya's expression turned grim, trying to come up with an answer. After fighting Yagra, he revealed the fox talks to him, Tsunade added. The two Sannin were silent for several minutes, both lost in thought. I'll look into it once I get back, Jiraiya murmured. For the time being, I think it's best you don't send him outside the land of fire. Keep him close to the village. Tsunade nodded, the sage resting a hand on her shoulder before vanishing in a cloud of smoke. Uchiha Compound, evening. Sasuke tossed another scroll to the side, his patience beginning to grow thin. His hand sunk into the floor, pulling out another scroll. He sat in the middle of a small shrine. The Uchiha once used it as a meeting place, though Sasuke never visited it until after the massacre. It didn't take long for him to find the hidden storage underneath many of the floor mats. Within were dozens of scrolls. He had been reading them ever since he entered the academy. In the beginning, there were lists of various ninjutsu, primarily fire style. Others were scrolls on how to perform said techniques. There were even a few on Sharingan training. But most were historical documents, much to his disappointment. Useless, Sasuke muttered, tossing yet another scroll filled with old names. Leave this place. There's nothing left it can offer. Sasuke clenched his fist at the voice. His other hand scratched the skin around the curse mark, feeling it pulse. Orochimaru's voice grew louder by the day. At this point, it was like the snake was in the room with him. Only I can give you the strength you need. No, Sasuke spat. I won't let you control me. Not you or Itachi. I am better than him. He felt his mind clear, at least for now, letting him sigh in relief. He reached into the floor once again, only to find one last scroll, buried at the very bottom. Sasuke slowly lifted it, feeling the age of the paper in his hands. A layer of dust covered it as well. Sasuke lifted it to his mouth, blowing away the dust. The scroll was black, various patterns placed across it in white. He slowly opened the scroll, laying it out in front of him. Inside, the writing was pure red. What first appeared was a seal. It was so intricate that it overlapped itself several times, simply to fit it onto the page. He sat there for an hour, trying to make sense of it. After finally giving up, he opened the scroll further. After a moment of silence, his eyes grew wide. Streets of the Hidden Leaf. Kakashi walked absent-mindedly through the streets, trying to enjoy his day off for once. Most of his time was spent training Sasuke, which was a lot easier now that both Sakura and Naruto were under different teachers. Although at times, he was disappointed with himself that he couldn't stay their sensei longer. I suppose they have to move on eventually, though it happened sooner than expected. But at least they're all headed in the same direction. Kakashi stopped in his tracks as soon as he thought that sentence. The only one he could truly say was on the right path was Sakura. Naruto and Sasuke were different stories. Kakashi! The Jonin glanced behind him, his one eye narrowing. Sasuke stomped towards him, waves of ki radiating off him. His Sharingan was spinning uncontrollably. In his hands was a scroll that Kakashi didn't recognize. The black color was uncommon, even if they were clan scrolls, which Kakashi assumed that scroll was. You've got some explaining to do, the Uchiha seethed, shoving the scroll into his hands. Kakashi glanced at the civilians around him, Sasuke's ki making them freeze or begin to feel sick. Let's move somewhere private, he muttered, resting a hand on Sasuke's shoulder. They reappeared in one of the training grounds, Kakashi weaving hand signs, casting a long-range genjutsu. He assumed this conversation was something no one else needed to hear. So, what's so urgent you needed to upset the public? Kakashi asked, looking down at the scroll in his hands. Open it, Sasuke ordered. Kakashi glanced at him curiously, before rolling the scroll out across the grass. His eye grew wide as he saw the massive seal and began to read. This scroll marks the dawn of the Uchiha. At present, there is not even 100 of us. But we know we will grow, despite the ongoing war between the clans. We also know that our bloodline power, the Sharingan Eye, is constantly evolving. Even now, a new form of our eyes have become known. It is believed that this form is the pinnacle of the Sharingan. And so, this scroll has been made. Its purpose? To record the names of every Uchiha throughout past, present, and future to awaken this power. And, if powers greater than even this is to appear, this scroll shall fall into the hands of that Uchiha. We leave this to our children and theirs. Let this be a testament to the power of our clan. Kakashi was at a loss for words, looking up at Sasuke. The Uchiha stared back, his ki growing by the second. Kakashi looked away, continuing to read. Below are the names of those who have awakened this extraordinary power, in order. Indra Uchiha, Madara Uchiha, Izuna Uchiha, Fugaku Uchiha, Obito Uchiha, Shisui Uchiha, Itachi Uchiha. You have to explain this, Sasuke ordered. I saw your teammate's name, Obito, on the scroll. He's been dead for years, but you still have one of his eyes, which means your borrowed Sharingan has awakened whatever this power is. You must know about it, yet you've never once told me what it is or how I can unlock it. If Itachi has it, I need it if I want to defeat him. Kakashi was silent, the mask hiding the frown on his face. He pressed against the headband over his Sharingan, unease settling in. I never thought I would speak of this, he muttered, Sasuke tensing in anticipation. I told you that my other teammate, Rin, was captured by the Hidden Mist, and how she jumped in front of my Chidori, killing her. After that moment, I blacked out, waking back in the leaf. Afterwards, I remember feeling a sensation in Obito's eye. I went to the Uchiha for answers. Your father, Fugaku, was recently named head of the clan. With difficulty, We were able to learn the cause of that sensation. Your father gave me very strict instructions. The first was to not tell anyone of this new power, which he called the Mangekyou Sharingan. The second was to never, under any circumstances, use it. I assumed it was because he didn't want someone outside the Uchiha having it, but over the years, I've learned that there was a much deeper reason. Kakashi looked up at his student, sadness in his voice. The Mangekyou Sharingan can only be unlocked by killing the person closest to you. Sasuke's breath caught in his throat, silence ringing across the field before Sasuke's Sharingan deactivated. I remember, days before the massacre, Shisui Uchiha went missing. People thought Itachi was the cause. They thought Itachi killed him. The two were best friends. That must be how my brother obtained his eyes. But my father was stronger than Itachi. Itachi admitted that multiple times. Then how? Kakashi shook his head. From what I understand, the powers of the Mangekyou differ according to each user. That's all I know. You must teach me how to use it, Sasuke stated abruptly. Kakashi looked up in surprise. The Sharingan were back, their red glow becoming brighter and brighter. I told you, the Mangekyou was awakened by the death of a friend. On top of that, I don't know how to use my own Mangekyou power. I cannot teach you, and even if I could, I wouldn't. Kakashi's expression was grim. Sasuke knew there was no way to argue like in the past. His sensei wouldn't budge on this, and he understood why. Talking to you was useless, the Uchiha growled, gathering the scroll before vanishing via a body flicker. Kakashi watched him leave, concern forming in his face. I should report to the Hokage. I think things are about to get worse than expected. Back in the Uchiha district, Sasuke fell to his knees, sweat dripping from his forehead. The moon rose into the sky, casting a dark shadow across the district. He clasped his ears, the voice growing louder than ever. I can teach you. I can give you eyes he could only dream of possessing. I can make you stronger than Itachi. I can even make you stronger than that Jinchuriki boy Naruto. Sasuke slumped to the ground. The voice became thousands, all repeating the same words he wanted to hear. Strength. Shut up! Sasuke cried, chakra exploding out of him. The buildings around him shook from the impact. Sasuke scratching at the curse mark, the black flames crawling up his body. The voices continued. Sasuke wanted his head to explode, which he thought would be a better existence than the constant noise. Chakra formed in his palm as if by reflex, lightning dancing around his fingers. He forced his hand into the stone beneath him, trying to dull his senses with the pain. Blood trickled down his arm, his breathing ragged as he pulled his broken hand from the ground. All right, you damn snake. You want me so badly? Fine. I'll find you, Orochimaru. And you will make me stronger. Otherwise, I'll kill you. A single, soft chuckle rang through his ears. Good. Very good. In that case, allow me to introduce you to my underlings. Sasuke felt the arrival of 4 figures behind him, making him jump to his feet. Each one had an odd silhouette. One with 2 heads, one with 6 arms, the third with a large build, and the fourth with a feminine figure. The curse mark pulsed in a way Sasuke had never felt. Yet, at the same time it felt familiar, it took a moment to realize why. The people before him, also had curse marks. His mind flashed back to Haku, remembering when they first woke up after obtaining the mark. He felt it back then, though he didn't notice at the time. Sasuke couldn't help but smirk. Finally, a step forward, towards my revenge, towards Itachi, and his death. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.